All right, so let's go ahead and get started. My name is Jen Jones. I'm the VP of Career Development for those of you who I may not have met yet. Today we are going to talk about your online presence, and I am, just for anybody who logged on after I did it the first time, I just stuck the link to the handout in the chat box so that you can click on it, download it, save it so you have a copy, or you can print it out. I will send it out again when I email the recording because I am going to record the session for you guys. That way we can always go back and look at it. Melissa, I see you're on. Can you keep an eye on the chat box for me? Sometimes when you share your PowerPoint, it's hard to see if things pop up. So I'll kind of pause every once in a while and check, but Melissa is going to help me out with that today. So your online presence, this is a class that I actually created years ago and have just kind of continued to update and refresh as we go and as things continue to change. It was created, kind of when social media started to really explode. And the thought process behind it is making sure that you do have a good online presence, that it is a positive impression that you're leaving on people. And, the best way I kind of explain it and explain the importance of it is, somebody is talking to a previous client of yours, and that previous client goes, hey, Ellen was wonderful. You should work with Ellen. The first thing that person's going to do is Google you. So, before you even talk to people, before you even have the opportunity to get them on the phone, get in front of them, schedule the appointment, they're going to research you. So, when you're getting that referral from a past client, which you love and, ends up being a bulk of your business, you need to make a good first impression. I always kind of tell this story as I'm teaching this class. Years ago, my mom was selling her house. And I had said to her, well, who are you going to use as your agent? Because it's pretty far outside of our market area. And at the time, we didn't have any of our agents that even went that far because it was before we got down to one MLS. So it just was kind of unheard of. And she had given me 3 different people. So of course, within seconds, the first thing I did was go, who are these people? And, why is she even considering them? So I Google searched every single one of them. One, I made her cancel the appointment because I Google searched. I couldn't find a website. I couldn't find like a Zillow profile with reviews and positive testimonials. There was next to no social media marketing. And that's my mom selling her house. And so 1, I'm a control freak. And then 2, it was a 52-acre property in the middle of nowhere, which is kind of a poor economy town for the most part. So it's a unique property, and it's not like the typical property where we lived was a farmhouse with a ton of acreage or like a beautiful family home in a very close development. So having a beautiful family home on that much acreage didn't exist. So it was not going to be the easiest thing to sell in the market we were in at the time. So for me, I needed to make sure that this person knew how to market their listings. And if you're not marketing yourselves, what does that say about the marketing that you're also doing for your listings? It's the first impression. So she did cancel the appointment. That person never even got the opportunity because she never got them through the door. The other person, he had his realtor.com profile. He had some reviews on Zillow. He had a website. On his website, it had sold listings on it. So I could kind of go through and go, okay, he's sold properties with a ton of acreage. He's sold homes that are similar price as to what that home should be. And he got the appointment and he ended up getting the listing. So, it doesn't guarantee you get the listing, but if you don't have an online presence with a good first impression, you're not even going to get the appointment. So that's why it's so important. That's why, we've created this class and continue to kind of update it along the way because of how important it is, because it is a 2-second search and everybody's researching before, you even have that opportunity. So let's go ahead. I'm going to kind of jump into my slides here. Okay, so a couple things. This is something that we absolutely do as a company and is equally important for you as the agent to also be doing. I actually used to kind of run and manage our agent website platform. So when agents would get a website, part of what I did was sit down with them and talk to them about how to market your website. To me, a website is kind of like the number one step in your marketing. Every single agent with home sale has a basic website with your picture on it, your bio on it, your listings, your contact information, your social media links. You can put customer reviews on that website, and we're going to talk about that. And then we also have an in-house website, but you know, anything you do online, your goal should be connecting back to the website. And the way that I very easily explain this is if you are promoting your listing, you just listed 123 Main Street. You do not want to go to Zillow, find your listing, and share that to social media. Because what you always want to think about is where am I sending that person? So I'm posting that on my social media. My followers who are connected to me see it. They go to Zillow. I have just sent them to the land of listing agents, is what I call it. So the second they start clicking around at other properties, they're now in front of all these other agents when they were just connected to me. So think about where you're sharing from, where you're linking back to. Go to your website, whether it's the basic website or you do the in-house upgraded one or you have your own third-party one, whatever it is, do it from your website. So when the consumer sees it on social media, clicks on it, goes to your website, they are on your website. There's no other agents on your website. They have a question, they want to request more information. You get that as a lead and they stay connected to you for the follow-up piece of it. So as we talk about all of these different things today, one of the things I will always encourage you to question about what you're doing is where am I driving traffic to? Where am I sending people? And is it where they stay connected to just me? Is it lead generating? Is there the ability to fill things out and then I capture that lead? And websites do that, which is why it's so important. So in everything that you're doing, it should be pushing back to your website. That's kind of like your funnel with all of the things we're going to talk about. This is the basic website I was talking about. So every single person, as long as you are a licensed agent with our company, you have one of these. Your photo, contact information, you could put your social media links on here. You can add customer reviews in here. They can be customer reviews that come from the electronic survey. So you have a settlement, as long as you had put your client's email address on the TSR or case sheet, depending where you're located. There's an electronic survey that goes out automatically after settlement. If your client fills out that electronic survey and you get either 4 stars or 5, it auto approves in the system. If you get 3 or less, you get an email, you can go in, you review it, you approve it or you disapprove it depending on the review. So that's how they happen automatically for you, but you can add them. So what I always tell people in terms of reviews is focus on places you can't put them. And what I mean by that, and like we're going to talk about it, but Zillow, you can't go put a review about yourself in Zillow. So if somebody texts me a review or emails it to me or writes a paper one, I have no way of taking that and putting it on Zillow. The client actually has to go to Zillow and put it there for me. But what I can do is add it to my website. So for those of you who don't have reviews on your website right now, go to Zillow, go to LinkedIn, go to Trulia, go to Facebook, go anywhere where you have reviews, even if it's in an email or a piece of paper, and put them in the system. So you can manually put in the client's name, mark if they were a buyer or a seller, and put their comments in there with whatever rating they gave you on the other platform. So you can manually add these and keep these updated by going into homesaleCenter.com and then the marketing section of the system. You can add special links to it. You can update and customize your bio. Everybody has their own domain name. So that means you can kind of put it on business cards. You can market it. You can buy your own domain name, and that'll kind of tie into my next slide, but you get a domain name. And usually, I need to remove that dot, I think. Usually it's jenjones.homesale.com, and I can put it on all my marketing pieces. You can also go to GoDaddy. GoDaddy is a website where you can purchase domain names. It's not a huge expense. They are $14 for a year. You can purchase it. So I could get jenjones.com and I could connect it to my website. That way I start to use that on all of my marketing, and gives me the ability to easily market and communicate my website to get people to use all the resources that I have on it. If you do the in-house website through the company, that's something they help you do. They will actually, do a Zoom session with you, go into GoDaddy, ask what you want it to be, like you give them your card, they'll punch it in, create the account, and connect it to the website for you. So they will take care of all the setup for that. But you don't have to have the upgraded website to get a domain name. I would start digging and looking now, because only one person gets it. So if there's another Jen Jones out there that wants jenjones.com, that means I don't get it. So I need to be creative and do jenjonesrealtor.com or jenjonesrealestate.com or something totally different. In terms of domain names, you cannot use the word realtor in it if your name isn't in it. So that's an NAR compliant thing. If you use the word realtor, you need to specify first and last name who the realtor is in the domain name. The only other no's is using the company name in it. So you can't do like BerkshireHathawayGen.com. Other than that, it can pretty much be whatever you want it to be. If you're not sure, you can always reach out to websites at homesale.com, and they will help you with what to create and how to do it, and help you with connecting all of that. In terms,
I had a question,
go ahead.
sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you prefer people to ask questions during this, or like all at the end, or as they pop up?
It does not matter to me, so you're fine, Sarah.
So I have a couple of other businesses, and I have a main domain name, and I put the other websites I have on there. So like, oh, you're contacting me about photography, well, here's my photography site, and it sends them there. Oh, you're contacting me about this, it sends them, you know what I mean? Would you recommend that for realty as well, or no?
I would probably be nosy enough to look at your website and ask and see how much is on there before I answer it. Because if it's kind of like a really easy, I go and I click to get to real estate, I think you're fine.
Okay, yeah, right now there's not a lot on in that space. It's just kind of like a placeholder for the other things I have going on, so it's not even really fully set up yet, but I have the other website set up, and the intention is to funnel people from one landing site to those things.
Yep. I think as long as it's like a one-click navigation, it's not bad. You can get multiple domain names. So like I could do jenjones.com and have it where it's kind of a landing page that goes to different things. And then I could get jenjonesrealtor.com, which connects to my real estate website. And, some of that kind of ties into Google searching. If somebody's searching that, it helps my website to come up. So, you could do it for different reasons. It'll also help you if you're doing any kind of paid advertising. Like if I'm doing paid advertising for real estate and you want to know how they got there, like having a domain name just for the real estate piece would be worth it versus trying to separate it out from any paid advertising you're doing for the other businesses. So I would either do both, or at least kind of just make sure you're routing it correctly.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Any other questions before I keep going? Okay.
Shoot, what did I do? Can you
Ellen,
hear me?
do you have a question? I got you.
Well, at the beginning, it's adding additional links, and what might you suggest as additional links? Now, this gal has her own other companies, but at the page before this one.
Yeah, so you can put a link to like greatschools.org, or like for you maybe a link to like a local Hanover website that has a lot of local area information on it. anything that for you is a resource. Like I always tell people, think about the content you send to your clients or you ask them to go research and connect it to your website if you can.
Okay,
So
right.
that way you could go, hey, go to jenjones.com and you can click for school information.
Okay, or the new coffee shop in town.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to promote them. Okay, all right.
Yep. So the advanced upgraded websites, those are $60 a month for an individual agent, $70 a month for a team website. The biggest difference I will tell you between doing a website through the company and through a third-party vendor is the fact that it is full service. And what I mean by that is somebody from Agent Services will actually do a consultation with you. They will, in a way, interview you, because what they do is actually write your homepage draft for you. They write your bio for you because sometimes it's hard to write about ourselves, and it at least gets you started with content. They do all of the setup to get it up and running. And then once it's up and running, they do all the maintenance. So with a lot of third-party vendors, they may do the setup and charge a setup fee, and they typically do. Or you're on your own, like they just do the hosting and you kind of have to use a website builder and do it. And then when it comes to changes and maintenance, you're either on your own or a lot of them you have to pay every time you need a change made to your website. So that's a huge difference with doing it through the company because it's part of us being a full service brokerage and wanting to take things off your plate so you can focus on real estate. So that's a part of it. It's also guaranteed compliance. So when they set it up, they are well aware of all the real estate compliance items so that you don't have to worry about running into any issues with that down the road because a vendor doesn't know about real estate compliance. So it takes care of all of that for you too.
Now, on my website, they show listings that have sold on my website, right? That I have through Berkshire Hathaway. Is it the listings that I had listed that sold? And also that I sold work with the buyer. Do they both go in there?
Yeah, as
Okay.
long as it's everything stems from the MLS. So like, as long as it's active in the MLS, it'll feed through to your website. The coming soons will feed through to your website. If it's pending, it'll be flagged pending. And then the sold listings, as long as, it goes back in the MLS as to it's sold and here's the sold date, it'll feed through. Now, when you're on the buyer side of it, you rely on the listing agent to do that. So,
Okay, but as long as they do it correctly, it's going to go there.
correct. It's as good
All
as
right.
what's in the MLS is what I always tell people. But yes,
Okay.
it would feed through for you, and it would feed to a separate sold page. Like your My Listings page is defaulted
Right.
to your coming soon, your actives, and your pendings, and they are flagged appropriately. The sold pages is a separate page.
Okay.
Sold listings is a separate page.
Jen, one quick thing, if I may.
Sure.
Way back when, many years ago, Jen used to call me before I was doing the new agent training. Jen used to call me and tell me that my website was not compliant. And I would get so angry. I had set it up through a third party about 29,000 years ago. And, I get this phone call, Tom, your website's not compliant. Well, what in the hell am I supposed to do? And I paid a setup fee, I paid a monthly fee, and we talk about in all of our classes about spending money wisely. The frustration, the aggravation of, I'd love hearing from Jen, but not trying to fix the problem. And so, it's $60 a month. There is no setup fee. It's compliant. Everything fits. That's money well spent.
Yep, absolutely. And I mean, we get a list, like we get lists from Berkshire Hathaway National of when people aren't compliant. If it's our website, like one, we would take care of it, but our websites are never on the list. It's always, like Tom said, agents that have third-party vendors that don't know the compliance. And yes, we do call because we don't want you to get fined. But then depending on the vendor, it's not the easiest to get updated.
Right.
So that's, the agent services team is the team that does our marketing, knows all the compliance, and also manages the website. So there's something to be said for that. Thanks, Tom. That's a great point. Go ahead, Melissa.
Sure.
There's a question in the chat box. What we're talking about is all of the things that get pulled to the upgraded website. How about going back to the basic site? Are listings and solds?
Listings are on it. So like if you look at the screenshot, there's reviews, the about section, there's links on the right side. I didn't take a big enough screenshot, but if Steph had active listings, pendings, or coming soon, they would be in the listings section right under her bio, but it doesn't have the extra pages. That's the biggest difference. One of the biggest differences. So no, it would not. The sold pages are part of the upgraded website. It also doesn't have the search capability. That's the huge thing. Like the basic website is my stuff essentially. Whereas when you get into the full upgraded website, it's got a full IDX property search. So now it's a tool for your buyers. They don't have to search on Zillow or whatever they're searching on. They can go to your website and they have full IDX data from Bright MLS on there. So that's part of all of the upgraded ones. So your listings would be on the basic one, but not the ability to search for other listings and not your sold listings, and basically all of the other content pages here.
Is
Okay.
that the same for reviews too?
Reviews can be on either one. So the only difference there is when you have the basic one, you're adding your reviews. And when you're paying for the upgraded website, you could literally be like, hey, here's 30 reviews. Can you please go add them to my website for me? Because that's all of that maintenance is included with it. So that's kind of the big thing. I mean, I used to have agents do that. They would go, hey, I just got like 10 new reviews on Zillow and Facebook. Can you pull them to my website for me? And we used to manually add them to help you guys with keeping your websites updated.
And I missed, did you say you asked the client to go to Zillow, to your page on Zillow to do that themselves, or you just get the main one that they write and then you put it in yourself?
So on your agent website, you can manually put them there. You cannot manually put them on Zillow. So I would always direct my client to like, hey, can you please go write a review for me on Zillow? And I would alternate it because you want to, and I'm getting ahead of myself, but you want to get them on Zillow, you want to get them on realtor.com and Facebook, and you can't put them there. Like somebody that is a Facebook user or has a Zillow client level account has to write it there for you. But when they do, you can copy and paste it and go put it on your agent website. So I would I would never send them to my agent website because I can kill two birds with one stone, get it on Zillow and then put it on my website.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
When they go to Zillow, what are they going to go and look for me and then say, I want to talk about her?
I would always send them the link. So when I get to the Zillow screen, I'll show you how to do it. I would always make it as easy as possible.
Yeah, that's my concern.
Yeah,
Okay.
I always tell people, literally when you get in the car after settlement, I would send a text like, thanks again, like congratulations on your new home. Would you please write me a review on Zillow? And I'd include the link in the text, send, and then they can just click and go do it. So the easier, the better. Okay, so domain names, I got ahead of myself with this one because, I just love it all so much. So once you get that domain name, put it on everything. Put it on your business cards. If you've already ordered them, get a label, stick it on the bottom, write it somewhere on the back of it. Make sure it's on your next set of cards. If you do have the jenjones.homesale.com and you upgrade to the full service website and you decide to go get jenjones.com, the other one will still work. It'll still be connected to your website. So it's not like, oh my gosh, I've got to go change it now. It'll still connect to the site for you. Any print you're doing, any marketing materials you're creating, all of the online profiles that we're going to talk about, your email signature, anywhere where it has your branding, to me, like if there's a phone number and there's a spot for a website, it better be there. So that's kind of my logic with it. So online profiles, these kind of tie into that Google search. Like this is where we're heading now with, we talked about the website, which does come up in Google, and it really does, no matter whether it's the basic or advanced, because it's on the company platform. So all the company paid SEO, SEM strategies we're doing helps to bring up your SEO because it's on the same platform. So that's a huge piece of it. There are other things that come up. So what I will tell you after today is go Google your name with the word realtor after it, and see what comes up, and kind of put yourself in a potential customer's shoes and go, would I schedule an appointment with this person? I just got the referral. Would I reach out to this person and consider working with them? So kind of going through the list, everybody has a profile page on Berkshire Hathaway's national website. When you join the company, part of our onboarding process is that Jenna actually puts your picture on there for you. So when you go there, your picture should already be there. Your active listings, just like on ours, they do feed from the MLS automatically, so it's there for you. They do not currently have the ability to personalize your bio or add another website link, but those are different things that they are working on. They're just not there yet. And then the clicks in the bottom left corner is kind of where you would go if you need to update your picture, update your phone number, change any of that contact information. Realtor.com. So every agent can do the agent hub, the agent profile with Realtor.com. Again, Jenna already adds your photo for you. So when you are a new agent affiliating with the company, it feeds from MLS, creates a Realtor.com profile for you. Jenna can go in, add your picture, put in your contact information, and then what you would do is go in and customize it. Like, make sure it's the picture you want. Make sure the contact information is correct. Personalize your bio. I will tell you, it's a total pet peeve when I go to these websites and it's like a standard generic bio. Like, tell somebody why they should work with you. So when I go there as a consumer, why should I list my house with you? Why should I pick you to help me go find a house? What are you going to do for me, and why should I work with you? That should be the kind of bio content that you guys are putting on there. So go personalize it one time, and go copy and paste it on all of these places. There's no need to, kind of reinvent the wheel. Add that link to your agent website. With Realtor.com, I don't honestly know if this has changed recently. I know you used to have to go add your sold listings and essentially claim them. I'll have to double check. I'm not totally sure if that's feeding now or not. You do need to request client reviews on here. It's not somewhere you can go put reviews. So what you can do is go to your profile page on here, log into your account as you're editing your website, go to your profile, and you can copy that link to your profile and send it to somebody, and, kind of alternate it. It's hard to get going and build these up, but once you get in the habit of, okay, this time I'm going to ask for Zillow. This time I'm going to send them to Realtor.com, and just kind of rotate who you're sending where. I would not send them multiple places unless it was like a very, very close, like if it was my best friend and I helped her buy a house, she better be writing me like 5 reviews on every website, because that's part of that arrangement and that relationship. But if it's, a client that you don't have that strong relationship with, and you're still building that with them, send them to one place. So it depends on the situation, but I would not necessarily send them multiple places unless you have that kind of relationship with them. Zillow's a huge one. I will tell you, when people are searching for your listing, searching for you, Zillow comes up every time. And it's a huge one. It's where all consumers are searching for properties right now. So enhance your bio. Same thing when you get affiliated, Jenna goes in and she adds your picture and creates your account. And then as part of that onboarding email, she sends you the login information for your Zillow account. If you're a vet agent that joins the company, she goes in, looks at it, and reminds you to update your broker information if you need to. So she's trying to help people as they join the company with these profiles. But same thing, take the extra 5 minutes. So what I would do after today, by the way, because I know I'm giving you a lot, if you're starting at like level 1 with this, make a list. So, start with your basic website, your upgraded website, making sure it's updated and you have what you need on there. And then make a list. I need to update my Zillow website. I need to update my LinkedIn. Start to make a list and then put a plan together, which we're going to talk about. So you kind of cross it off as you go, and then just know with reviews, it's a constant. It's that constant asking after every single settlement to keep building that up. So with Zillow, same thing. You can personalize your website or personalize your bio, add a link to your website. You can add sold listings and you can request customer reviews. So this is where, for Ellen's question, Google yourself. That's the easiest way that I can find to get to Zillow. So like I would Jen Jones Zillow and Google. That'll get me to my profile on Zillow, and then copy the link up at the top of the page. That will get them to this screenshot you see of Lisa's, and all they need to do is click where it says reviews. They can click on that and then they can write a review for you. And it does have to be tied to a transaction. So with Realtor.com and Zillow, it has to be somebody that was a client and you helped buy or sell a house. With Facebook, I mean, it could be somebody that you just know, and it can be somebody and the review or the testimonial can be more so about your integrity, your trust, like your professionalism, your responsiveness, but these have to be tied to a transaction. That's a little bit of a difference to note too as you're working on building these up. A couple comments, because you can automate some of this if you connect your Zillow account to your dotloop account. You can actually log into your dotloop account. If you haven't already, go into your dotloop account settings, click to connect it to Zillow. All you do is put in your Zillow username and password. What that does for you is when you're in dotloop after a transaction and you mark your loop sold, it will automatically feed your sold transaction to Zillow for you, so that you don't have to go manually claim every single one of your sold properties. It takes it off your plate and it keeps it updated. So, this did not always exist. Before we would look at this and I would go, okay, pull up your Zillow, let's see if it's updated. And I'm like, why do you have 0 sold listings? I know you don't have 0 sold listings because it's a manual thing. Part of your I sold a listing process needed to be adding it and claiming it on Zillow so it showed up on your profile. If you connect your dotloop, it'll do it for you automatically, so you don't have to remember to do it every time. The other thing it gives you the ability to do is right in the people section of your dotloop loop, where you already have your buyer's name and email, it gives you the ability to click request review. And through the dotloop system, it will send them via email a request to go write you a review on Zillow. So you can do it that way. You can text them like we talked about, whatever's going to be the best way to get your client to go write that review for you. But some of that dotloop automation will definitely help, at least with the sold listings piece of it. You can also automate some of those reviews going to Home Sale Center. To be super transparent, half the time I talk about this, half the group is like, yes, I'm going to go do it. And the other half is, no, I don't want to do it. And I'm going to tell you why. So you can go into Home Sale Center, add your Zillow screen name to the settings section of your reviews. What that does is it pulls your most recent 10 Zillow reviews to your website automatically. So you don't have to, every single time you get a new one, send it in. Now, here's the deal breaker on it for some people. It only ever displays the most recent 10. So it makes sure that you always have 10 from Zillow mixed in with everything that you're adding manually, and it's the most recent 10. But on the flip side, I have people that go, no, I want 30 from Zillow. The only way to do that is to manually add them. And I wouldn't bother putting the screen name in, because then you have to figure out which you put here, which you're automatically feeding. So you need to decide, am I good with always having the most recent 10 from Zillow? Or, do I want 30 from Zillow? And it may depend on how much you're putting in manually. So it's an option that's there for you. If you're somebody that's really bad at keeping it updated, it guarantees you've got at least 10 if you forget to do this after we talk about it today. Homes.com, some of these items depend on the website and the functionality. So Homes.com, it does not have the reviews. It does not have all of the capabilities like some of the other ones that we talked about, but your listings are there. And to me, anytime your listings are somewhere, you need to be as professional as you can, because if somebody's looking at your listing, you want them to call you because you're the listing agent. So it's homes.com. You know, there's not as many people searching as there are on Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com, but you should still go in and update your stuff. You can personalize your bio. You can add a link to your website and make sure your picture and contact information is correct. So, you know, that'll take you 5 minutes to check off the list that you're making, instead of having that ongoing, I need to request customer reviews to keep it updated. So we talked about online real estate profiles, all of the ones that I just went over. So just to kind of backtrack, the Berkshire Hathaway one, Realtor.com, Zillow Group, which is Trulia and Zillow, but you only have to do it once in the back of the system. It updates both. And then homes.com. All of those have your listings on it. So that's the key reason as to why they are important to have that online presence and positive impression, because if somebody's looking at your listings, you want them to see exactly what Lisa has. If I'm looking at her listings and I click on her, Lisa's got 5 stars. She's got 76 reviews. You know, if I scroll down, I can see her sold listings. I can see her actives and pendings. And, you know, Lisa looks like a rock star to me. So I'm going to reach out and work with her, as opposed to, you know, maybe some of the other people that are paying for placement. So, you know, on your listings, because of the program we have with Zillow, you as the listing agent are listed first. Everybody else under you is paying for that placement. But, you know, if I'm looking at this and Lisa's got like 1 or 2 stars, like 1 review, and then Mickey is down here knocking it out of the park, I'm going to skip right over her, because, you know, if Mickey's doing a better job, I don't really care that Lisa's the listing agent. So why it's kind of so important, just to give you that visual of what consumers are seeing and possibly thinking while they are clicking and searching. So important to really start building that up, because your listings are there. And then, you know, very similar with Realtor.com, they're going to click on you and kind of look at your profile and your information.
Can I ask, it's been a week since I've started.
Yep.
So I'm going through a lot of processes and getting familiar with everything. I haven't heard anybody mention anything about Redfin. Is that something that we don't participate in, or is that something I have to figure out on my own? Or
Our listings are there. There's not a ton else more to do with it. You know, our listings go to over 36,000 websites. They don't all have agent profiles on them. A lot of them, it's just kind of like, here's the listing and the person who the listing belongs to. It's not as much as to, you know, putting your bio and your contact information and everything else on there. So I've not looked at Redfin in a while, but these are kind of the key ones I would focus on, just because of the features and the content they have on them.
Jen, just to help, just
Yeah,
to
go ahead.
continue with that a little bit. Redfin is a competitive broker, and they have incentives. And so we obviously do not want buyers going to Redfin. We want to direct them to our stuff. So Redfin is.
I get that. Yeah. It's just at least because I've moved from Washington State, and I don't know if it's a regional thing or what it is, but in a lot of my circles, that was the main one, because it's so configured like social media is, and how usable it is and user friendly. Now, when I went to go see if I could work for them, I was like, oh no. So I totally get that it's not your traditional
No.
full service situation, and it's a pain in the butt on our side of it. I get that.
Yeah, it's kind of just one of those, you know, because of using Bright MLS and because of how we syndicate our listings are there, which is great for us, you know, because we want our listings in front of as many people as possible. But with these other real estate portals, like there's no like bias or advantage, I guess is the way I would word it, because it's kind of like, here's everybody's listings and it's just whoever's tied to the listing. So just kind of a little bit different functionality with it. So social media, these are really because, not just looking at Facebook as an example, and I have all these friends and I have all these people connected to me, it's that. And it's also everything we've talked about with when somebody Google searches you, Facebook comes up. I mean, Facebook's on the first page. It's on the first page with, your home sale website and several other places. So it's important, not just because of, keeping it updated to keep in front of people. It's important because it's also that first impression. So it's kind of a mix of all of it, which is why social media, has continued to evolve within this class over the last couple years because of how prominent it's become. LinkedIn, before we get to Facebook, is a big one. There's been times where I have sat down over the years with an agent and literally gone through, okay, you need help with social media. You need help with, digital marketing online. And the first thing I do is go Google yourself. Let's see what comes up. And that tells me where we need to start. LinkedIn, several times when I've done that, has come up in the top 3. It may not be in the top 3 every time because that changes, but it's usually at least on the first page. So LinkedIn is a huge one. I will tell you all the other things I love about LinkedIn too, but just to start, go to linkedin.com if you haven't. Sign up. It's a free account. It's not a paid account unless you need it to be for another reason. It's like an online resume. So the biggest difference between LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram is it's a professional networking site. It's not as much social media as in personal relationships and personal information being shared and opinions, and I won't even go down that rabbit hole. So LinkedIn is more of a professional networking site. And the way I would explain it is, hey, we all go to an event and we hand each other business cards. It's kind of what like LinkedIn is doing online instead of in person. It's kind of that same element. When you are going on LinkedIn, looking at Brad's screenshot here, when somebody connects with you, what's the second thing they see? They see your name. The second thing they see is what you do. So you're a realtor. It is a non-invasive way of going, I'm a realtor, I'm a realtor, I'm a realtor. Think about who you connect with. And I'm not a heavy user, so I've got room to grow with that. But, people that reach out to connect with me are people I went to high school with, people I graduated college with, people I meet out in an event or that I start a vendor relationship with, and then they add me on LinkedIn. And I'm like, great, let's stay connected. So you connect them. So for you guys, whether you're adding them or they're adding you, you just handed them your business card. That's the equivalent of it for you. Instead of going, oh, I haven't talked to them since high school. I don't really want to call or text them. Like it's not in my comfort zone to start that way. Go look them up on LinkedIn. Like as long as it's somebody they know, people usually accept it because it's not as invasive. If you haven't talked to them in 10 years and you add them on Facebook, they may, depending on the person, not accept it. But this they accept. Things that you see immediately, their email address. So it's a great way to build your database. You have people you're wanting to add to your CRM and put in your database and start reaching out to. Connect with them on LinkedIn. You just hand them your business card and then you get their email address and you can start reaching out to them. You can connect with local vendors, local businesses, ask for recommendations. So this is a big one. What I will always tell you with LinkedIn is give the recommendation first if you can. So if it's somebody and they have their own business or their own company and you've worked with them before, go write them a recommendation on LinkedIn and then click the button that says request recommendation from that person. They kind of feel obligated at that point. So it's a much easier way to get them to write you a recommendation. I tried telling my dad this one time when he was between jobs. He did not listen. And, those parents of ours, he went and he started asking for recommendations. And then he texted me. He was like, you've got to be kidding me. The first 3 people I asked to recommend me said, absolutely. Would you mind recommending me? And I'm like, huh. So, I have that piece to share with you. It does go a long way. It means a lot to them. If somebody recommends you, you immediately kind of go, wow, that was great. What can I do for them? It's the same thought process. And, you're also supporting their business. So content, like it's not like Facebook and Instagram where you need to post every day or every other day and keep them updated. It's just not the same platform. You can post content on here to pop up and kind of stay connected and in front of people. It's different types of content. It is more, industry related updates, maybe broker company updates, major things that are going on with home sale, like when we just got a new office, anything happening in the real estate industry, any market updates, that kind of content is, typically what people are looking for on here. But definitely a great professional website to use if you haven't been using it.
Jen, before you move on from LinkedIn, Terry asked a question about standardized background banners that are already created, like Brad has that show Berkshire Hathaway.
Those are on Team Home Sale. So if you go into homesalecenter.com and click the Team Home Sale icon, it will take you into the Team Home Sale platform. There's a search bar. I'm too lazy to dig through all those folders. I love the search bar. So just type in Facebook cover and it comes up Facebook cover photos as a folder, and they are all in there. They are perfectly sized to be used on Facebook pages, but they typically work size-wise for LinkedIn as well. So I would use those because it does have either the company logo or the yard sign in it. So it's great for branding. In terms of social media, especially Facebook, it covers you for compliance. So, you have to have certain things to be compliant where you're marketing, like the company name, like the disclaimer and equal housing and the realtor logo. These are created with those on it. So as long as you're using one of those Facebook cover photos from Team Home Sale, you're good in terms of the logos you need to be compliant. So that's what I would definitely recommend, whether it's Facebook or LinkedIn, you could use those banners.
I have a question along the same lines regarding branding content, like the specific colors we use, because I do a little bit of graphic design. So if I wanted to create something, my own Facebook banner that's unique to me and use, the branding guidelines for the company, am I okay to do that, or is that like a no-no?
You're absolutely good to do it as long as it's compliant. So I would say reference like the branding guide that's in the Accelerate binder that's in orientation. That has a lot of like the do's and don'ts in it. I would also tell you maybe the first couple times you're creating things until you really get it, send it to agent services, and they will help you. Like that's part of what they do. They will look at it and go, hey, Sarah, like this is good, or you need to add this and this to be compliant. So, there's a lot of different things that have to be considered until you're comfortable with it. I would just have them spot check it for you as you're creating things.
And that would be free of service? Because
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Yes.
Awesome.
If you're going, hey, I need you to design it for me, it's through the
Yeah.
virtual assistant and you pay for it. If it's going, hey, I created a banner, can somebody just make sure that it's compliant? They're happy to help you with that.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Am I good, Melissa?
Yep, you're good.
Okay.
Can I ask a question? It
Go
says
ahead,
here about sharing, now, a little black line went up there, now I can't see it. It mentions sharing blogs on LinkedIn, which I never thought to do, a blog article. Isn't there somewhere in Resource Center that there are blogs available?
We
No.
have a blog called askhomesale.com that has, we update it with like real estate content, home sale content, like homeowner tips. So you could always share articles from there as a way to keep your LinkedIn updated.
And how do I get to that?
You just type in askhomesale.com, or if you forget it, it's on.
In Team
On
Home
Home
Sale?
Sale Center.
Yep. If
At
you,
Home Sale Center.
yep, it's on Home Sale Center in the social
Okay.
media section.
Okay. It says I know they're there, it's just a matter of where are they?
Yep.
Okay, all right.
Okay. So Facebook profile page. Making sure I don't get ahead of myself. There are things you can do on your personal page. There are things you can do on your business page. Things that you can do on your personal page. Make sure you change your job title. Go into where you do your about section and you do your work experience and make sure it's realtor at Home Sale Realty. So, somebody adds you on Facebook, you add them. Make sure, it's not just your business page. You have more Facebook friends than you do people that like your business page. So make sure your personal page at least says that you're a realtor on it. Check your contact information, make sure it's updated, trickle real estate related content to your personal page. Do it from your business page. So, we talk a lot about social media and you do have more friends on your personal page. However, you need a business page. You can't do paid ads without a business page. You want real estate content to live here, and then once in a while to be able to share those from your business page to your personal page. You don't want to share everything because, you really need to think about who am I friends with on Facebook? Who's my audience? They don't want necessarily every single new listing, depending on how much business you're doing, or everything to be real estate related. It's social media. That's what the intended use is. Facebook can actually deactivate your account if all you post is business on your personal account. So use your business page and do it in a different way. Post it on your business page. And then if it was a house you just sold, share it to your personal page. Really enjoyed being able to help my brother buy his first house. Take it from real estate to personal. It could be the same thing done or said in a different way. And I wouldn't do every single thing. Your personal page really needs to be a mix of your business personally and like that fun, candid, thing that social media is intended for. The biggest thing to use your personal page for is prospecting. So when you sit down every day, because I know every single day you are all doing like an hour or two of, time blocked prospecting. When you sit down to do that, when you go to make that call, because, you're organized in your time blocked prospecting and you have, this is who I need to reach out to today. Before you make that call, go look at, I would go look at Melissa's Facebook, because I don't love not knowing what to talk about. I'm not great at that. However, I can go, Melissa took her, she took the dog for a walk. I wonder how the dog's doing. She went on vacation. Everything that's happened to Melissa. So now I can call and have a much more connected conversation. So, that's the beauty in social media and your SOI being connected to you, is you can have better connected conversations. You can minimize putting your foot in your mouth with things that happen to them that you shouldn't bring up, but you may not have known if you didn't check social media. It also gives you their birthdays, take the online, offline. Think about when it's your birthday, how many people comment on your stuff. Be honest, do you read all of those? Sarah's like, no, I can't see all of you. I'd have to toggle my screen, but I see a couple no faces. So take it offline. You see it's their birthday. If it's Tom's birthday, maybe I'll send him cupcakes. Maybe I'll do a little video selfie of, hey, Tom, it's your birthday. I hope you have a great day. Let's figure out when we can go to lunch. Send them a card. How many times do you actually get I get like a birthday card from my mom, and that's about it. So send them a card, take the extra effort, and instead of just the quick comment, do it in a different way. You see everything that's going on with them. Recognize their special moments. This is how you find out when people get married, when they have a kid, when they retire, when they get a new job. You see all of those moments, good or bad, recognize them and be there for them. Comment on their posts, interact with them. And, even if it's not real estate related, when they see content from you, Chrissy did the Accelerate Alumni this morning, did a phenomenal job with it. One of the examples she had is, the typical quarantine outfit of business on the top, crazy on the bottom. She posted a picture of it like, hey, I had Zoom meetings today with clients. This is my outfit. And it was hilarious because it's her personality. But what that was to me, that's a subtle reminder that Chrissy's working and she's a realtor. So it doesn't always have to say that. but it's the same kind of message. So all the reasons and what to do with your personal profile, your business page, use those branded cover photos. You can use the Facebook connector tool, which we do teach in the Facebook class how to use it. It will automate your listings, market reports, open houses, request reviews on your business page, post additional content, use the blog, use our YouTube channel, share content on your Facebook page, get out of your comfort zone and do videos. Instead of just sharing a blog article every week, go read the blog article, do a video summarizing it. It could be, coming up way too soon is winter. Here's things you should be doing to winterize your home. Instead of just sharing the article, do the bullet points via video, be the resource, because, video, more people are willing to watch it. It's candid, and that you can connect with people more than them reading the article when they see you and hear you. You can use it to run targeted ads. You can, go to your website, share your listing from your website, which, by the way, Facebook Connector, that's just how it does it. It links back to your website. If you've got an upgraded website, share informational pages. If you do your own blog, you can share your own blog articles, but just some differences in personal versus business page. Go ahead.
Just before you move on, in case you haven't set up your business page, Sarah pointed out, make sure you do a business page and not a public figure page.
Oh, yes.
Because it can be confusing and like you're not able to do those advertisements and those types of things. That's just a good thing to note. Thanks, Sarah.
Good point. Thank you. Thanks, Melissa. I'm rolling, so thanks for stopping me. Instagram, there's a difference in the audience. However, sometimes it's the same. Like, that's kind of my way to summarize compare the two of them. There are a ton of people who are no longer on Facebook because they got sick of the opinions, they got sick of the negativity, they got sick of the politics, because Facebook can literally be an opinion. Instagram is not so much. I mean, there's a little bit of it everywhere, but Instagram, your post is a photo or a video. It's not just text. So it's less comments and opinions because it's more candid. It's more social. It's more, pictures of family and friends and videos and like what's happening in your life versus like a rant, which Facebook can be for people. So some people are now only on Instagram, especially younger and younger generations, like way younger than me at this point. But there are also some people on both. So, what I would say along those lines is do not get in the habit of every single thing you put on Instagram sharing to Facebook. It needs some things that you want to make sure gets out there and everybody sees it. Yes, put it on everything you're doing. But on a regular daily basis, do not share every single thing because the people who are connected to you on both get sick of it real quick. I'm one of those people to just be super transparent. Like, I will literally sit there and be like, do you want to text it and Snapchat it to me too? Can I see it 5 more times? Because I want to see different stuff. Like, I go on Facebook to see those people I'm connected to and Instagram to see those. And it's okay if it's the same, but like, I don't want to see the same thing everywhere. So it can be the same event you went to, post a video on one, post photos on the other. It can be the same new listing, post the link to the listing on one, do like a selfie video talking about the property on the other. It can be the same message done in a totally different way. So that's kind of just using the platform for what it is and differently. Follow your SOI, comment on their post photos and videos that, again, trickle in. I'm in real estate without it being all real estate and overwhelming. You can run targeted ads through your business page that also post to your Instagram account. Go ahead,
Ken, I
Melissa.
have a question. What is the company's policy on posting pictures while you are at showings? You're showing someone else's listing, not a Berkshire Hathaway listing, and you come across I took a picture of showing at a showing the other day because it had in the bathroom wallpaper, not only on the walls, but the ceiling. And not only was it wallpaper, but it was old 70s fuzzy wallpaper. Crazy. It was like, oh, we walked in and was like, oh my God. Post it, but it was not our listing.
Right. So,
My listing.
so I can give you the company's policy on marketing listings. The company's policy on marketing listings is it has to be your listing because, you know, per the listing contract, the seller gave you and the broker permission to market their property. They did not give it to every other agent out there to market it. Now, marketing it is posting it on Facebook, you know, sending it to your buyer is something totally different. So the company's policy is you can only market your own listings. With something like that, you're not marketing it. So I can tell you, I've not honestly been in any discussions about whether you should be doing it or not. I will absolutely ask the question and get that back out to you guys. I see agents doing it all the time.
Right, I do too.
When I see it, you know, the property address is never disclosed. It's never outside pictures of the property. It's like that feature or that space.
And sometimes it's a really nice feature. Sometimes it's a
Absolutely,
gorgeous
absolutely.
kitchen. It's not something you're making fun of, or, you know, a fantastic backyard or a view. We had a discussion in our office about it one time, and there were some differing opinions, and I've never, you know, never heard the official word.
Yeah, and I have a feeling when I ask, I'm going to get differing opinions. So
Right.
I'll put it on the PC agenda and get Bill Dinkle's thoughts on it, because that's what we did with the home marketing one, and it was a unanimous, like they can only market their own listings because of that.
Right.
So I'll do the same thing because I've not heard that conversation, but I'll get that back out to you guys.
I think it's risky business.
Yeah, I mean, I see it a lot, but I definitely have
You
concerns.
never know
with
who's
it.
going to look at your Facebook page. Oh, that agent who has that listing, and then they show that to their customer.
Yeah, and their
it
client's
just-
upset. It's not worth that.
No, it's not worth it.
Could end in a bad review.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I would kind of keep it to like a day in the life of what you're doing, you know, minus that kind of content on there. But I'll get like an official answer on that.
I mean, some of the agents that I follow, not even from our company, from other companies on Instagram, just for their ideas. I mean, it's a widely used marketing
Absolutely.
premise, and that's why I ask.
Yep. I'll ask the question because I see it too. Okay, so in terms of working through everything that we talked about today, you know, what I always kind of go back to is, you know, come up with a strategy. It's the only way to really guarantee you're going to get it done. Come up with a plan once you do that. And, you know, keys to a good strategy is well thought out with deliberate activities. What I kind of mean by that is like I would make a list. And I would kind of categorize your list. So, you know, take a look at your basic website, update what you need to update, customize it. If you have the upgraded one, kind of do the same thing, make sure it's where you want it, and then work through all the free ways to drive traffic to your website and promote your domain name. So all of those are all of the things we talked about. Like go in and update your Zillow profile, make sure a link to your website is there. Go in and update LinkedIn, go in and add, create your Facebook page, go through all the online profiles and social media we talked about and make sure it's updated and connected to your website, and then come up with a process. Like when I sell a home, I am going to ask for a review on Zillow. And then next time I'm going to push the person here, kind of come up with that system of when and where you're going to direct people for reviews, and then always make sure it's put back on your website. Keep your social media updated. Once you've done all of that, and you do it without thinking about it, because if it's still work, like if you go, I've got to post on Facebook today, I need to keep it updated, I need to request reviews, like if it's still work, you aren't ready to do C. You're not ready yet. If it becomes a habit and it's consistent. And you've got stuff scheduled, I do a tip Tuesday, I do a featured video Friday. Like, you have a plan and you're consistent with it and you're intentional about keeping it updated, then you're ready to do C. And C includes, targeted Facebook and Instagram ads, SEO strategies such as like Google pay-per-clicks, and doing premier profiles on Zillow, and doing zip codes. Until you have exhausted every free avenue, you're not ready for it. Until you're at a point where, your income versus your marketing spend, you're not ready yet. So those are the things that I would kind of leave you with to build your list and kind of start working on that. Tom, Melissa, anything you would add?
All good.
All right.
Race to the finish.
All right, it's recorded. I will absolutely send out the recording for you guys and the handout for anybody who missed it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you guys. Have a great day.
Thank you. Please send out the handouts because I joined in late, so it will be nice of you. Thank you so much, Jen.
Absolutely.